Hey, welcome back. RC Crawler Talk. So today we're going to talk BECs. What are they? Do you need one? And why? We're not going to get into too much technical specs. We're just going to do, real quick, keep it simple, and I'll show you a quick way to wire these guys up. So BEC, what's it stand for? It's Battery Eliminator Circuit. And what it does is essentially bypass the voltage from your battery in ESC, at least in the crawler application, to your servo, so you get more power out of your servo. Now, there are tons and tons of servos on the market that are direct power, and by direct power meaning the servo will actually have two sets of wires coming out of it. One goes to your receiver, and another with just two wires, a positive negative, that you would plug into where the battery comes in. So one way to think about what a BEC does and why it's good for crawling. Crawling, a lot of times you get your tires pinched in rocks or pinched in logs, sticks, debris, or you're running really big tires or running really heavy rig, and a lot of times your servo just does not have enough power to get it to turn. If it does, it starts getting hot. You don't want that. You want to make it run nice and smooth. So pretty much all ESCs have a built-in BEC, so it drops the voltage down for whatever your battery voltage is, down to whatever your receiver can handle, 5 to 6 volts. Not sure on all the technical specs. There's lots of videos out there if you want to do technical numbers. So basically what it is you want to divert your power and get the most power to your servo that your servo can handle. So look at the specs on your servo. If it says 8.4 volts is your max voltage, make sure you don't have no more than 8.4 volts going to it. Now, these are all programmable with the Castle link. You plug it in your laptop, download the software with it, and you can set the output voltage. Okay, so make sure you don't overpower your servo. So here's traditionally how this works and how you would wire a BEC to a servo. So you got your incoming voltage, positive, negative. This is a 3S LiPo, so we're looking at 11.1 volts. It's going to plug into this, right into your ESC. Now, also real quick, if you're going to put different connectors on your ESC to match your batteries, just add in a couple JST connectors. You get these at your local hobby shop or hobby stores, or even Amazon, whatever. But just, you may not need it right away, but if you ever want to add a winch or lights or whatever else, it's nice to have these little pigtails already in there. So if you're going to solder it anyways, put a couple JSTs on it. And this particular application, whatever I use this for, I've got positive and a male and a female JST on it. Why? I can't recall off the top of my head, so we're just going to roll with it. But do whichever one you want to do and go from there. Okay, so incoming voltage down to here to your ESC, and without the BEC, now if this has a 5 volt Beck built in, only 5 volts is running out to your receiver. That's what powers your receiver. You get your connection to your radio for throttle, steering, winch, whatever accessories you're going to do. So all this, that's the route it goes: battery, ESC to receiver, and then the receiver will take that voltage it's getting from this, let's just say 5 volts again, it's going to run it out through this to your servo. So now your servo is only getting 5 volts. The problem is you're going to be putting a lot more load on your ESC and your receiver if this thing starts getting bound up and wanting more amperage and wanting more voltage. Okay, so another thing to note is every servo wire has 3 wires to it. You have traditionally brown, red, and orange. And if you look at your receiver, this is a Spectrum receiver, and it's got little indicators right there. You probably can't see it, but the outside one is a negative, middle one's a positive, and it's got a little an S on this one for signal. Okay. Now, what you don't want to do when you install the BEC, well, let me start over. Voltage goes through this way, right? Now, when you install your BEC, you don't you're going to take voltage straight from the battery voltage into your BEC here through the JST. Your voltage comes into this, and then your voltage, whatever you set it to, the output, if you look on here, I actually write on them, 7 volts is what I had it set to last. The power comes out of here, also out of 3 wires, but you don't need all 3 wires because it's just voltage. It does nothing to do with signal, nothing from your radio telling the servo to move or the motor to spin. So the only thing you need are the positive and negative. So on this particular setup I clipped the wires, I pulled back the signal wire. We don't need the signal wire. And I got, if you'll see, I have a negative that's split off and then a single positive. So when at the end, this plug here goes into your receiver, a negative and a signal. There is no red wire in the middle, because if you had the red wire in the middle, now your voltage is coming through this into here, and this part gets plugged in your receiver, and you're going to get back voltage into your receiver because it's already getting voltage through the ESC. So you're going to keep this ESC wire the same. So this is still going to get the proper amount of voltage through the ESC, right? But you don't want that red wire also powering the ESC because it will smoke it, and maybe your ESC and possibly puff up your battery. So in this particular setup, again, signal wire is gone from the BEC, no signal wire, positive, split the negative wire. You always want to make your ground loops too, your negative, so you want make sure you have a signal and negative to your receiver, and then back here, the signal wire joins that split red power and another ground back to the 3 wires that's going to plug in. This part will plug into your servo wire. So take this guy out. Now your servo is going to go into here. Make sure you get the right way. Always look brown to brown. Some servos will have, or some servo wires will actually have a white, red, and black. Don't worry, the red is always positive, black or brown or dark colors generally negative, and the lighter third wire is going to be your signal. But if you're unsure which colors are which, think about when it plugs into here, what orientation it plugs into, and then pull off according to your receiver. Majority of them though, red is always, I haven't seen any otherwise, but red's always in the middle. So the other way to do it is you can actually buy a pre-made Y harness. Holmes Hobby sells them. A couple other places will probably sell them. You can get them that way too. So multiple options though. This is the way I did that. So you cut out the signal wire. So you got just positive, negative. And you got negative and a signal, and then it goes to your servo. Now whatever you set this to, 7 volts, your servo is going to get 7 volts. It's going to be faster, it's going to be stronger. Again, check the manufacturer specs so you don't burn up your servo. Oh, yeah, so this guy would plug in place of that, right? Boom. Now, you've got a BEC, you've got proper voltage here, you got max voltage ESC for your motor, and then you got max voltage wherever you set it to for your servo. Pretty simple. It may be intimidating at first, but that's the best way to do it. If you're still running a non-direct power servo, you need a BEC, in my opinion, for all rock crawling. Regardless if it's a comp truck, straight rocks, cheater truck, basher, trail truck, whatever, you're going to get better steering ability with max voltage or more voltage than what your ESC and your receiver can give your servo. Here's another quick way to make a Y harness. So this guy here, you got your BEC coming out, and when you get your BECs, let's take this new one out of the package. There are other companies that make BECs as well, so do your research on that. So those 2 wires are you're gonna wire up a JST because you've already got them on your main power. It just taps right off of that. 11.1 volts, 11.1 volts. Stick that in there. You're going to come out. You're going to, you don't have to do any wire trimming or nothing. You just want to go get yourself, you can get yourself some servo extension leads. You know, they'll come with a male, female, and you get them in different lengths. Like I got a really super short one right here. This will be just fine too. You see it's got a male and a female. So it just extends your servo leads. But get those, cut it in half. And you want to take the female one, and you're going to plug it into here. Again, making sure that negative, negative, and signal, signal are on the same side. Coming out here, you have your positive and negative. See, I just continued on the negative here. And this part, if I had the right end on this guy, plug that one into there. See, I'm going to back up. I'm going to mess you guys up here. All right, now we're cooking. So, if you look at this one, ground and signal wire. This little extension, positive and negative. Yeah? So I don't have the right end on this guy. So you're going to take your BEC, you're going to plug it into the positive, negative. That's going to get the voltage going out to here. From this point, your signal wire and your ground will go back to your receiver. Plug that in. Now you have power coming from this way, signal and ground coming from this way, and they all meet up right here at this Y. And then you plug in your servo into that point, and you're done. If you don't have a direct power servo, get one. This makes the wiring so much easier. Less stuff you got to put in your truck. You know, more consistent on power. Less things that can go wrong. If you can't get a direct power servo, that's fine too. This is an alternative way to continue to use servos that you have regardless. All right, try to keep it easy, try to keep it simple. And like I said, if you want technical specs, check out all the other videos online, not mine, other people's. And there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.